Welcome to Deerfield High School for today's varsity lacrosse matchup. It's the Deerfield Warriors hosting the Maine South Hawks. I'm your play-by-play broadcaster, Dylan Traeger, joined by color commentator Dylan Zuber. Dylan, it's great to have you back in the box today.
It's great to be here. I'm happy to be back. Baseball, a little bit of cancellation today. So, I'm here and I'm ready to watch some great lacrosse. And then, you got, like you said, Maine South and Deerfield. Maine South coming in at 8-7 and 4-2 in conference. They like to score a lot. They scored 173 goals, and Deerfield 7-9, also 4-2 in conference, both in the Central Suburban League. Deerfield, though, getting outscored by almost 60, 129 to 184. Maine South is plus 23. Dylan, what are you looking here for this lacrosse game for Maine South and Deerfield?
You know, Dylan, what I'm looking forward to here, this is two teams who haven't had too much success this season. Deerfield currently on a streak of 1 wins. They've had a rough few games here. I believe it was 2 nights ago, they hosted Palatine for non-conference, and let me tell you, Palatine being in the MSL, that's a tough matchup. Palatine ended up taking the game by about 10 or 12 goals. I think Deerfield is looking for a few more victories here, but as you said, both teams are 4-2 in the CSL conference. Not great overall records. I think it's going to be a pretty close matchup. You know, it's two teams who haven't had much success, and I'm expecting a close game. I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. You know, good defense by both teams. I don't see more than 10 goals being given up in total. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. When you look at both of these teams' record, Maine South has a lot of trouble away from home as they are 3-6. They thrive at home and they're 5-1. But Deerfield, when they're at home, they're 5-5. So you really never know. Like you said, they played Palatine here the other day, and they lost at home pretty big. As I pull up, they also played Libertyville here at home. They won. They lost to here Mundelein. They went on a little stretch at home where they lost 3 in a row early in the season. Mundelein, DePaul, Prep, and Stevenson. And then here in conference, they beat GBN, they beat Peyton College Prep, and they beat the rival Highland Park. Something to look at for both of these teams is Maine South played Highland Park, and they beat them. I believe it was 21-1. I'm gonna fact check that, but I believe it was 21-1. It was 22-1. Deerfield played them. It was 11-1. But then when they played New Trier, Deerfield lost 20-2, and Maine South lost 21-1. So both of these teams seem to be evenly matched. It's gonna be a good matchup here at Deerfield on this Friday evening. 25 minutes is on the clock here for the first half.
But yeah, honestly, what I think is Deerfield has an advantage here. They are sitting at a 500 record at home, being 5-5, and this Maine South team has shown lots of struggles on the road. They're 3-6 on the road, and you know I've been here in the box for almost 2 hours now, and you look at this Maine South team. They came here super late. This game was supposed to start at 5, and they came up here on 4:45, 4:40. They didn't have much of a warm up. I don't see any reason why Deerfield can't play with this one, as we'll be back shortly after these introductions are made. As here we are back for the start of this game. 25 minutes on the clock for the first half. As let's meet the starting lineups for this game. For Maine South, their starting lineup going with a lot of high numbers here. Number 15, Hannah Brosella Jr. Number 9, Catherine Connolly Jr. Number 22, Sophia Genares Jr. Number 10, Caitlin Gleason, a senior. Number 4, Caitlin Goff, another senior. Number 16, Anna Claire Harms, the sophomore. Number 25, Lucille Haspin, the sophomore. Number 23, Molly Hennigan, sophomore. Number 11, Grace Jurger, sophomore. Number 27, Emmy Prater, senior. Number 21, Melitza Simic, sophomore. And number 44, Julia Van Royen, sophomore. And Dylan, what I'm noticing with this team is this is the same starting lineup they used for their Highland Park game. While I don't have final results from – correction, I do. This is their lineup they used when they beat Highland Park by a score of 22-1. So I'm not sure if that says anything. Maybe this could be their strongest lineup, or they just weren't prepared enough to switch their lineup. But then looking at the Warriors for Deerfield, their starting lineup, they've got senior number 10, Kate Buharich on defense, senior number 11, Michaela Pye on defense, senior number 15, Rebecca Warady on defense, number 16, mid, Samara Bronstein starter, starter number 18, Isabella Kiseno attack, starter number 19, Gracie Plocker on mid, she is also a senior, starter number 21, Dylan Zimbroff, senior on attack, senior number 22, starter Mackenzie Pomerantz as attack, number 25, starter Chloe Cooper as mid, number 26, Erin David as attack, number 28, Juliana Hoffman at defense, and Deerfield's goalie is Hannah Margulis, number 29. This team is head coached by Florin Mitron and Kyle Nagel, both of which have been with the program for as long as I can remember. But just taking a look at this Maine South team, you look at their stats, it looks like for the most part they're led by Sophia Genares, who averages 3.7 goals per game. In addition to that, she averages 2.7 assists per game, and her shot percentage is about 2.8%.
As you see, Dylan Zimbroff and taking the face-off here for the Warriors against Sophia Genares, and the Warriors take possession early.
And adding to Dylan Zimbroff, she does lead the team in assists per game, the senior, averages about 1 assist per game, and that's a team that definitely puts a lot of balls in the net. Deerfield has put in 129 goals this year, only allowing 184, as this team looks to get closer to 500 as they sit at 7-9 right now. It's going to be Deerfield with the ball to start things off.
Not a lot of, there's a little bit of off-ball movement, kind of just standing around there, not very spacious. As you see, there's a lot of people on that 15-yard line just kind of standing there in a line. I wonder if they're trying to get a play set up here or something, but great defense so far by Maine South early in the first minute.
For Deerfield, it's still in Zimbroff with the ball. She's behind the net, passing it off to Gracie Plocker. Both the seniors leading things. This is a team full of seniors. I'm wondering how this team will look next year with all the seniors leaving. As here's Gracie Plocker giving it right back to Dylan Zimbroff as they're just hogging time for about 2 minutes here behind the goal. It's Dylan Zimbroff behind the net as she starts moving around. Dylan Zimbroff moving around, tries a whip shot on goal. Nothing will come up as there's a whistle blown. Clock is stopped at 23:31. Correction, they're going to leave a running clock, but there's no ball in play right now. As there's the whistle, play will continue for Deerfield. It's them with the ball. It's Dylan Zimbroff. Looks like she's kind of one of the leaders on this team as she has the ball right now.
She's getting roughed up by Maine South's Caitlin Goff there, the senior defender, doing what she does best, which is obviously defend, but also try and play more of the aggressive nature here for the Red Hawks.
As here's Zimbrov passing into Gracie Plocker, a shot and goal, and that's good! The first goal of the game goes to Gracie Plocker from Deerfield. Correction, that's a goal from Samara Bronstein. My apologies there. And the assist goes to Dylan Zimbrov, who, as we already mentioned today, is the leader on this Deerfield team at the assists. That's going to go down as a Samara Bronstein goal. Time of the goal, 22:37, giving Deerfield the lead.
That is someone to watch for the Warriors, as she's been highly regarded as one of the top players in the program here for the Warriors. As we're back 22-37. Zimbrov again taking the face-off here for the Warriors.
As there's Maine South breaking away and winning the face-off there on the recovery. As I just spilled my water all over my lap.
Of course you did.
Nah, I'm not surprised.
You know, that's what happens when you take a break from school and you don't know how to learn how to drink water.
Take it easy. As here's Maine South with the ball, 22:15 on the clock. As that ball is lost but recovered by Deerfield's goalie, Hannah Margulis. And I do know Hannah's older brother, Zach, is a standout athlete for Deerfield Athletics, playing hockey and I believe lacrosse.
Yes, and her younger brother, Nate, is a football player. Very highly touted football player here for the Warriors. Sophomore, played a lot as attack. No goal off the top of the net.
As that ball is shot by Maine South's Emmy Prater, as Maine South will remain with their possession. 21:30 in the game. Deerfield 1 on Maine South's 0. It's Maine South with the ball trying to put up their first goal of the game as there's a shot on goal, and that's going to get caught and saved by the goalie. Shot comes off from Maine South's Sophia Generis, the junior who plays mid. As it looks like we have a little delay in game here, as maybe the goal moved. There's a referee fixing it. Clock remains running as it's Deerfield's goalie, Hannah Margulis, with the ball. For Deerfield, it's Rebecca Wardy being passed the ball.
To Bronstein. Bronstein now to Plocker. Plocker gets that up to Zimbrov. They are trying to go on attack here. They do not have the numbers. Maine South has 7 people back compared to Deerfield's 4. So I wonder how Deerfield, if they wait for everyone to get back, if they keep 4 people at about the 50-yard line or behind.
Yeah, and just what I'm noticing here is just things are running a little bit slow here. Just not much defense here. Not much offense here. I feel like both teams just aren't looking like they're playing their hardest here.
Maine South on the attack. They have the numbers. It's a 4-on-3 with a trailing Warrior. Taking it all the way is Lucille Hasman, the sophomore attack.
As we are at the 20-minute spot in the first half, current score, Deerfield 1 on Maine South 0. As it's Maine South with the ball on the Deerfield net. Maine South running around, puts up a shot on goal, and that's no good. Just missed on the outside. That ball is put up by Maine South's number 3. Mia Pearl, a junior. As there's another shot on goal, and that is way off from Maine South. That ball is shot by Katie Durkop, the junior. I'm noticing from these first few minutes here, a lot of these shots that Maine South is putting up are just way out of zone.
Yeah, I wonder if that's an attest to their sort of not as much of a warm-up because they did get here late. I know that at least us for baseball, a lot of how our warm-up goes dictates how we play in the game. Is if we warm up flat, game is probably going to be flat just because that sets the tone early. But, I mean, you really never know. Maine South is a very big school, so you would expect big things from their lacrosse program, as they are also very successful in the football program. But that's besides the point. And their baseball program. So we have a Warrior down. That is number 22, Mackenzie Pomerantz, a senior. Looks like a head injury, but I can't really tell as Bree's coming on to the field.
Clock is stopped at 18:42, so we'll be back after the injury break.
Lucy pulling.
As we are back from injury report, current score Deerfield 1 on Maine South 0, 18:42 on the clock. It's Mackenzie Pomerantz coming off the field with an apparent injury. She's walking off on her own. Looks to be okay. For Deerfield, it's Lucy Pullen off the bench, subbing in. Deerfield will have possession. For Deerfield, it is Lucy Pullen with the ball.
Lucy, another one of the seniors on this senior-heavy Deerfield Warrior roster.
As there's a shot on goal that is going to go in right after the whistle, and that's not going to count as a goal for Deerfield.
Samara Bronstein there again, as like we said earlier, she had the goal earlier in the game, and she looks to be one of, if not the main piece for this Warrior lacrosse team.
As here's Deerfield putting a shot up, and that shot is good from Samara Bronstein. That's her second goal of the game, putting Deerfield at an advantage of 2-0 with 18:10 in the first half. And that's not going to be assisted by anyone. That was her on the penalty right there. But I'm expecting, I'm feeling 4 or 5 goals from Samara Bronstein. You see, she's been the main offensive player for Deerfield today and this season. I'd say between her and Dylan Zimbroff, that's a great duo that other teams hate to be against on defense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Warriors go here without one of their seniors in Mackenzie Pomerantz. But, I mean, look to do fine as Bronstein already with her second goal of the match, lining up at the 40. But, yeah, like we said, it's a very senior-heavy lineup for the Warriors, a lot of which had their last full day of school today.
And for Deerfield, it's Dylan Zimbroff not getting the face-off. It's Maine South winning it, Sophia Genaris. And it's Maine South with the ball, and they're going to put up a shot, and that's going to go in. But there is a whistle, and I do not think they're going to count that as a goal.
You know, being a lacrosse school has got to be one of the physically most demanding things. I mean, you're just getting lacrosse balls, which, by the way, are not soft, and they do hurt, just pelted at you minute after minute after minute. So, I mean, that's got to hurt, and you got to let a lot of bruises on the body. What do you think?
No, I agree, but, I mean, it's just like baseball being a catcher. You just got to be an aggressive and tough player. I've caught a few bullpens for you in my day, and it's not always a fun thing, as there's a shot on goal from Maine South that's going to go way out of there. And that's going to be recovered in the end zone. Current score, Deerfield 2 on Maine South 0. 17 minutes approaching on the clock in the first half on the running clock. It's Maine South with possession. With the ball is Lucille Hasman. 16:50 on the clock. Still Maine South with the ball at the 20. As there's a shot on goal, and that's going to be way out of bounds. That ball is shot by Emmy Prater, the senior on Maine South. Maine South will recover the ball and keep their possession as they're trying to make a play happen here. As that ball is recovered by Deerfield. For Deerfield, it's Chloe Cooper, the mid, recovering the ball as she's running all the way. She's getting past everyone as she's going to fumble that one, and there's a whistle blown.
Chloe Cooper, the sister of Deerfield basketball player Liam Cooper.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I was
She was
I was announcing his game the other day for volleyball.
Yeah, Chloe, a Warrior basketball player in the program, I believe, is on the JV fresh off team this year. I've broadcasted most of, if not all of their home games. And she's a good basketball player, good multi-sport athlete, is one of the few multi-sport athletes on this team. I know another one, Aaron David, who also is on that same basketball team. I think Hannah Margulis is a hockey player, Maine South.
And sorry to interrupt you here, but there's a Maine South goal. I believe that was Sophia Elahay. Time of goal is going to be 15:34.
That's a Maine South goal scored by number 11, Grace Jurger.
Correction, that was number 11, Grace Jurger, the sophomore attack. That's going to cut Maine South's deficit down to 1. Time of goal 15:34. Current score Deerfield 2 on Maine South's 1. 5:22 p.m. at Adams Field as we have another game after this, varsity girls soccer. That'll be a fun game. It's very nice out in Deerfield if you had nothing planned tonight.
You know, something to see for the Warriors is they have substitution ready to come in. I can't quite get the number because the arms are crossed, but it looks like it's 20-something. As I wonder how the impact of losing Mackenzie Pomerantz, if she's able to come back in this game, is going to haunt the Warriors here.
As it's Maine South winning the takeoff. There's a shot on goal, and that is in. Maine South tying the game right there. That ball is put in by Maine South's Milica Simic, the sophomore, and that is going to tie the game at Deerfield 2 to Maine South 2. Time of the goal is 15:19. And you definitely are seeing the effects of not having Mackenzie Pomerantz here on attack. She's a really aggressive athlete who definitely makes a difference on both sides of the field. As that goal is brought to you by Guaranteed Rates Ben Cohen. Score a great mortgage experience. As here is Maine South again, winning the face-off. It's Milicia with the ball as she's being double-teamed by a nice Deerfield zone right there. Dylan, I got to ask you, what do you think the difference is of having, a man-to-man or, in this game, a girl-to-girl defense versus a a girl-to-girl man-to-man defense or a zone?
I mean, I think with lacrosse, it's a lot easier to do man-to-man because you're able to just stick someone on and just shadow them the whole time. And while the field is a lot bigger, there's also a lot more bodies on the field to, have the word in your zone. You can kind of get caught lagging, and you can have people just sneaking behind you. And it's kind of the same thing in basketball. You're on that 2-3 zone. Your weakness is going to be the baseline, but it's also going to be up top in the paint. So you really never know what's going to happen. Man-to-man, you know what's going to happen, and hey, I have this guy, you have that guy, blah, 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 so on and so forth.
As there's a shot on goal, and that is good. Another goal from Maine South's number 21, Milica Simic. That is her second goal of the game, and that is giving Maine South their first advantage of the game, getting their lead at 3-2. Time of goal is 14:18, and you definitely can see a lot of action here happening as there's a Deerfield sub for Deerfield. It's Jordan Cohen coming to the game for the first time today. Not a lot of substitutions in this game for either side. I think you can see both sides have their best players out there on the field and really want to get this win.
Yeah, short benches both for the Warriors and for the Hawks. Hawks have what looks to be about 6 or 7 players, and the Warriors look to have, about same number, 6, 7, 8, 6 or 7 players on the bench ready to go as well.
Yeah, I mean, from a look of active players, it looks like only about six players on Deerfield. I don't know if you count Mackenzie Pomerantz, as there's another goal for Maine South. Time of the goal is 14:03, as that's going to extend Maine South's lead to 4-2.
That's the Maine South goal scored by number 16, Anna Claire.
as that goal is put in by Anna Claire Harms, the sophomore attack. And Dylan, I got to ask you at this point, with Maine South having a lead at 4-2, what do you think Deerfield can do differently on the defensive part?
I think they really got to tighten down their defense, and then when they're on off, they got to try and run and use their speed, and then when they're on offense, try and spread them out, open up the middle, as Maine South has been doing. But Maine South has just been able to just attack the center and the middle for the Warriors. I think they got to really collapse their defenders and try and win this game with smarts, and rather not just straight try and outskill the Hawks.
Well, there you have it. Once again, time of goals 14:03, as this is a running clock.
And if you're the Hawks, this is exactly what you want. You know, you gave up 2 goals early, and you kind of brushed them off as your high-powered offense is going to try and get you more goals. As, like I've said earlier, they're now up to 177 on the season count for goals. Deerfield up to 131. When Deerfield wins, they win big, and when they lose big as well. You know, New Trier, they lost by, I believe, 20. I will get more information, but when Deerfield wins, you know, obviously they have a couple of close wins. Libertyville, they won by 1. Glenbrook South, they won by 1. But, you know, Mundelein, they lost by 12. Stevenson, they lost by 12. Evanston, they lost by 12. Warren, they lost by 13.
What about the Demons?
Lane Tech, they won by 10.
What about the Demons?
DePaul College Prep,
Yep.
they lost by 2.
Yep.
Lake Zurich, they lost by 1. New Trier, 18. And you said earlier, Palatine, they lost by 14. But when they win, Vernon Hills, they won by 12. Highland Park by 10. Peyton College Prep by 12. GBN by 2. Lake Forest Academy by 1. GBS by 1. And Libertyville by 1 as they missed on a grade A chance there at the front of the net. Maine South able to get out of that and run. They do have numbers. It is going to be a 5-on-3. Let's see how they attack that.
As for Deerfield, that was a shot on goal missed from Deerfield's Chloe Cooper, someone you already highlighted and discussed today. 12:30 on the clock in the first half. Deerfield 2 on Maine South's 4. That score update is brought to you by Ace of Spray. As there is a whistle blown, clock will remain running.
You know, I wonder if they got a little bit of red in those Gatorade bottles over there. What do you think?
A little bit of red?
A little bit of red? I think so.
I think a little bit of a little red Mio could energize the players a little bit. Definitely need something to keep you going on this very gloomy day. Sun is way out of the picture here.
You know, they could use that. They could use a Jordy Green. You
As
really
there's
never
a
know.
shot and goal from Maine South. Lucille Hassman, that's going to go down as her second goal of the game, expanding Maine South's lead to 3. Time of goal is 11:53. Maine South 5 on Deerfield's 2.
That's a Maine South goal scored by number 25, Lucy Hassman.
And Deerfield right here is going to call a timeout using their first of the game. Dylan, what do you think Deerfield needs to do on the offensive side? You really saw at the beginning Deerfield had a lot of offensive shots in possession, and now it's been Maine South the whole way.
I mean, they were able to, you know, kind of get Maine South back on their heels, kind of lure them, and find open spots in the defense. As first possession for the Warriors took about 2 minutes to get any movement going, and they were able to get that ball deep into the end zone and basically let a play develop. But when they get trying free-flowing, that's when things start to head south for the Warriors, as we've seen now 5 goals in a row and a timeout had to use here by Coach Meitrin. But, I mean, you could be seeing it too. They're a lot better when their offense is obviously within the 20, but also have drawn-up plays and not just trying to play with instinct.
Oh, there you have it. We're back after the timeout break. Maine South 5, Deerfield 2, 11:53 in the first. Back from timeout break, the current score is Maine South's 5 on Deerfield's 2. 11:53 on the clock as your color commentator Dylan Zuber is munching on a Snickers bar. After that Snickers bar, what's your take on the rest of the first half?
I mean, that was a pretty
Finish chewing. You all good?
that was a pretty good Snickers bar. It's from the bottom of the bucket.
Okay,
So
you're welcome on that one.
it was after a long day at school. Took a lot of pictures because it was our Jam for Justice. So got a lot of photos with people.
So can you explain what Jam for Justice is and maybe some of the sponsors that sponsors that as long as the athletics?
Jam for Justice is basically an event where Deerfield High School on the last final day for the seniors, as a goal there by Maine South, but going back, that was scored by number
and just
22.
to quickly interrupt you, yeah, there is a goal there for Maine South's 22, Sophia Genaris. That's her first goal of the game.
But going back, Jam for Justice is basically an event sponsored by the Human Rights Club, where they have live music. Normally they got like pizza and Dairy Queen and a lot of like good food to eat, selling it in the courtyard. But this year, Jam for Justice music had to be in the cafeteria in case the rain was pretty bad. Which looking back now, it was not bad at all. It was a little bit of light drizzle. But you can never take that chance with all the live food and the live music. But it's also just an opportunity for students to show off their musical talents. One of many opportunities they have at Deerfield. But like I said, sponsored by the Human Rights Club, they raised a lot of money for it. And it's just for the seniors, it's a good time. They get out of a couple of classes. It's during all the lunch periods. And you see all the students, all out of the seniors, and not all of them. There's another goal there by Maine South. Number 21, that is Militsa Simic. Sorry if I botched that name.
Militsa Simic, and that's going to go down as her third goal of the game. Time of goal is 11:26 as Maine South takes a 5-point lead over Deerfield.
But as I was saying, it's just a good time. You bond with all your friends. You take pictures with your friends as everyone's wearing their college gear. And it's just kind of a celebration in honor of the seniors. So, I mean, obviously, I know you had a good experience with it last year. It was pretty fun last year, being out in the courtyard.
Yeah, it was a good time. And, all the sponsors that make it happen are a big thing. Adding on to the sponsors for Deerfield Athletics that go up on the video board all day. But it's a huge help and a big thank you to them.
You can also see a bunch of the sponsors have their banners below the video board, just to name off a few. DYBA, Alpha Graphics, Banner, Waterway, Athletico, just to name a few. We're very grateful for the sponsors. Almost another goal by the Warriors, stopped by Hannah Margulis, though. It's been a lot of the show for Sophia Generis and Milikatsa Simic, as we've said those names probably 10 times each so far, and it's only been 9 minutes. Ooh, little roughhouse there by Caitlin Goff. The second time she's been trying to really roughhouse with Zimbrov. They had that little incident on the 30-yard line a little bit when Zimbrov, beginning of the game, but looks like they're back now as the Warriors get that to Smart Bronstein. And this is exactly the person you want with the ball in their hands.
As there is a yellow card, and that yellow card is going to be on Maine South. Trying to get the number there.
Hannah Brozell.
So that's going to go down as an Anna Claire Harms yellow card, putting her out of the game. That's going to be her first yellow card of the game. Clock is stopped at 10:35. As I'm being told from our field spotter that it is starting to lightly rain outside. I don't think that'll have an effect on this game until if there's lightning or a Thorgard going off.
Yeah, I believe it is lightning. Thorgard is the only way these games get canceled, or if it's, just this absolute pounding rain where you can barely see. But even with that, we played a game for high school football against Mather in this trenching rain. It was really cold.
That's a whole different story, though. That's high school football.
I mean, yeah, no, but this is still a high school varsity sport. You can't make football seem any more than girls lacrosse. They are
No, but the
varsity
difference is, though,
sports.
that football, when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty in late October, November, you don't have time for makeups on those.
Yeah, it was also a playoff game.
And this is the spring, and there's so many more nice days that the games can be made up and finished.
Yeah, I guess is
As there's a
nice
shot on
save there,
goal and
Hannah
a save.
Margulis.
That's a great save there.
Nice.
9:30 on the clock here.
As we see some of the varsity soccer coaches getting ready. That's, I believe, Coach Rick Grady and Coach Crane. Stay here for the girls varsity soccer game going on after.
As it's going to be Deerfield with the ball here. For Deerfield, it's Samara Bronstein who's got the 2 goals, turning it over now.
You know, what are you seeing here that's really working for the Redhawks?
I think just the amount of shots they're putting up along with their defense, they really haven't let Deerfield get many shots up since the first 2 they scored in the game. But their defense and aggressiveness has been huge, and they've just put up a ton of shots too. They're taking advantage of this Deerfield goalie who's been letting the ball roll in very often, and they're definitely noticing that they got to put more shots up if they want to increase that big number on the scoreboard, which is the result of the game. As it's Deerfield with the ball. For Deerfield, it's Dylan Zimbrov. 8:15 on the clock in the first half. As there's a shot on goal from Samara Bronstein, as that is going to roll out of bounds. Dylan, who does the Deerfield soccer team play after this game?
Deerfield soccer plays Warren.
Warren, okay.
So-
Little Gurney action.
The Blue Demons.
Blue Devils, actually.
Blue Devils, my bad. They beat us in baseball.
As there's a
earlier
shot
this
on goal
year.
from Deerfield, and that's not going to go in. That's from Chloe Cooper.
It's a
Big
very
difference between a Blue Demon and a Blue Devil. Big
yeah.
difference.
Well, tomato, same.
You see, that's where you're wrong. Is there
Well-
7:30 on the clock in the first half for Deerfield? That's a shot on goal, and that is good for Deerfield. That's going to be a Samara Bronstein goal. That's her 3rd goal of the game, and that is big for Deerfield. That's going to cut our deficit down to 4.
You know,
Time of the goal is 7:29. Score, Maine South 7, Deerfield 3.
going back, no one's perfect, so can only try and be so perfect, but even the best of us mess up. So, we'll get back to it tomorrow or later in the game and hopefully be better,
Pretty nice attendance for this game, too, knowing there was rain here. That's their estimated fan attendance. It's got to be about 30. What do you think about that number?
Yeah, I mean, 35. Some probably looks more to be Maine South parents than it does Deerfield, but this Friday evening, it's about 5:45 here on the 12th. Deerfield seniors had a long day today.
As there's Dylan Zimbrov stealing the ball away from Maine South. It's going to be Gracie Plocker getting the ball pass to. And then a pass to Samara Bronstein. Not many people over on this offensive side by Maine South net. Still, Samara Bronstein with the ball. Bronstein walking around with it. She's going to go off to Dylan Zimbrov. And they're going to talk over it over a little bit. Here's Dylan Zimbrov waving the stick in the face.
Little pregame matchup here for tonight's matchup between Warren Township, the Blue Devils. It is the Blue Devils. And the Warriors, Warren, 9-4-3.
As here's Dylan Zimbrov with the ball behind the net. 6:30 in the first half of play here. Dylan Zimbrov puts up a shot on goal, and that's good. A Dylan Zimbrov goal, her first of the game at the time of goal, is 6:18. And really, this Deerfield offense is catching fire here. That's 2 goals in the last couple minutes from Deerfield. And that's going to make the score Maine South 7 on Deerfield's 4. And looks like Maine South's going to call a timeout here as Deerfield walks back to their huddle. We'll be back after the timeout break here. Maine South 7, Deerfield 4. Here we are for the rest of the first half. Current score is Maine South with the lead on Deerfield 4. Maine South 7, Deerfield 4. 6 1/4 to go in the first half of play. And that was a Dylan Zimbroff goal to pair nicely with her assist for Deerfield. It's Samara Bronstein leading the game with 3 goals for them. Dylan Zimbroff with a goal and assist. And taking a look at Maine South, it's Melitza Simic with 3 goals. There's the face-off, and it's Maine South winning it, and I believe it's been Maine South winning the face-off every time in this game. For Maine South, it's Caitlin Goff winning the face-off. Lucille Hassman with the ball. A lot of ball movement. We got 6 minutes left in the first half of play here. Maine South with the ball at the 30, at the 20. There's a shot on goal, and that's going to go in, I believe, there.
No, it hit the side.
I thought it hit the side on the inside, but they're not going to call it a goal there. That looks pretty good to me.
Looked good to me as well, but, I mean, I guess the officials saw different here. As you said, it is 7-4. Maine and South Beer just under 5.5 minutes to go in this first half.
I think Deerfield got away with something there. As it's Deerfield with the ball, 5:30 on the clock. Not many defenders down there for Maine South, and not many offenders for Deerfield.
Deerfield tends to play a lot more spacious. I think you can attest to, you can agree with that as well. I mean, they have 4 people.
Which isn't a great thing. You shouldn't have 3 people behind the net standing around. I mean, you got Samara Bronson with the ball, and there's no one really open to pass it to.
Yeah, not very good spacing for the Warriors.
As there's a whistle blown as Samara Bronson drives in and puts a shot up, which is saved. She will get a penalty shot here at 4:43 with the clock still running. Maine South 7 on Deerfield's 4. It's Samara Bronstein with the ball, and she will get a little attack shot right here for Deerfield as she looks to make this score a little more even. Here's the shot, and that's going to be blocked. And she's going to recover it, put the shot in, and that's good. Samara
play.
Bronstein, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 goals on the game.
It's a great play there. She was able to get the deflection off of the goalie and make this now a 2-goal game with just under 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Shaping up to be a really good second half as well here, Dylan. What do you think?
It's a great shot, and that's a big mistake on Maine South's goalie for just letting that ball bounce right out of her stick. If she caught that, it would be a whole different game here, but it's Samara Bronstein making things more fair here. Deerfield 5, Maine South 7. Time of goal 4:21 in the first half. As that's going to be her second time today winning it on the attack shot. Really showing that she doesn't need a good assist in order to put a ball in. As that goal is brought to you by Alpha Graphics.
Oh, just got up there, beat out the shorter Zimbrov. As she's trying to take it the whole way. Still hasn't passed it off yet. Trying to get her own shot, but now she lets her teammates get up and develop a play. Let's see what goes on here.
As it's Maine South with the ball, as that ball is thrown away, Maine South will try to recover it as they will. For Maine South, it's going to be Lucille Hassman, the owner of a goal and a yellow card today. We're at 3:45 on the clock. Maine South 7, Deerfield 5. As there's a shot on goal, and that is a goal for Maine South. That ball is put in by what looks like number 22. That's going to be Sophia Genaris. As she's just having a great game today. That's her second goal of the game. Genaris, only a junior, plays mid. Has a bright future for her in the Maine South Lacrosse program. Time of goal is 3:39. That extends Maine South's lead to 8-5. Statistically on the scoreboard, Maine South has 11 shots on goals, while Deerfield has 7. Both teams have 1 timeout left.
Seems like both teams are very efficient with their shots. You know, Maine South has only missed 3 shots. Deerfield has only missed 2 quote-unquote shots on goal. So I wonder how that affects the coaching and the philosophy here coming up in the last just under 4 minutes and then this whole second half as well. What do you think?
I think both teams are putting up some good shots, but I think for Deerfield, you got to let more people put up shots besides Dylan Zimbroff and Samara Bronstein. I get that those are your 2 strongest players, but you're missing 100% of the shots you're not taking with the other players, and definitely is hurting them. You see that Maine South has 1, 2, 3, 4 players with goals, and for Deerfield, it looks like only 2 players are being given the ball to take the shots with.
Oh, another goal there for the Hawks. Number 21, Milikatsa Simic, her fourth goal of the half.
You almost wonder here who's going to take more goals away, Simic or Bronstein, as Maine South extends their lead 9-5. Time of the goal 3:16. As that goal is brought to you by Waterway Car Wash. Waterway Car Wash hiring at all hourly positions. A great job for any high school or college student.
You know, if you ever need a great car wash, that's the place to go.
You think so?
I mean, we've gone there a couple times.
I'm a big hand wash guy. I do it myself.
I don't have the time for that, but you know, if you ever want a nice car wash, good customer service there as well. You know, like you said, a lot of the people either working in college or high school students, so you're able to connect with the workers there. I mean, not like you talk to them much, but, you know, if you're going to have a conversation, that's the place to go for a car wash. Again, that goal was sponsored by Carway. Or Waterway, not Carway. My apologies.
If I'm going to have a conversation, I enjoy doing it on a broadcast, as here we are. 3 minutes to go in the first half. A little bit of a sloppy turnovers from both sides there. It's Maine South with the ball.
Nice
And there's a shot on goal, which isn't going to go in. That's from Sophia Genaris, as she looks to put her third ball in for Maine South.
You know, underrated there was the pass to set up the shot. Really able to thread a needle there are the Hawks. You know, Maine South is just a very good school at a lot of sports.
As that's a great shot from Maine South's Caitlin Goff. That's thrown way just a bit outside.
But this is going to be a matchup that you're going to be seeing a lot more in the next year and for years to come. As Deerfield, wow, what a save there by Hannah Margulis. But Deerfield is actually moving to the CSL South at the end of this year. And, Maine South being the CSL South, going to be a challenge for the Warriors, and it's going to be a real interesting few years transition to see how they're able to transition into the South and how they are able to compete and very hopefully succeed in the CSL South. Now, obviously, depending on the sport, that could be widely regarded as one of the top conferences in the sport. Obviously, baseball, you have two top teams in the state in Evanston and New Trier. Basketball, they're always good. Football, they're always good. So you really never know. But New Trier, obviously, for lacrosse as well. So they're going to be one of, if not the top conference for a lot of sports.
As there you have it on the CSL South report.
For those of you that don't know, CSL South consists of Maine. Right now, it consists Maine South, GBN, GBS, I believe New Trier, Evanston, and Niles West. But the team, so Deerfield is moving to CSL South next year and replacing Niles West. So the new look CSL South, as we get the 1 minute remaining mark, and the goal is going to be Deerfield, Maine South, GBN, GBS, New Trier, and Evanston.
As that goal is from Maine South 16, Anna Claire Harms. That's going to be her second goal of the game. Time of goal, 54.5 seconds. Maine South extending their lead to 10-5. As there's your 1 minute warning from me. As it is Deerfield making a substitution for this last little bit of play for Deerfield. It's going to be Aaron David, the starting attack, coming back in the game, number 26. But really, for Maine South, they got a great approach here. Going into halftime with a 5-point lead, it's a huge advantage for them as they look to grab this victory, making a win streak for them. As here's the face-off. Simbra for Deerfield looking to win her first face-off of the game. As she is unsuccessful. Maine South taking the ball. And you can see that the height difference on this Maine South takeoff. Maine South has a huge towering advantage at the height. As here's 40 seconds to go in the first half of play. Clock is running with the whistle blown. And I'm surprised we haven't gotten any really rain today during this game. I did not think this game would happen with the way the report looked. Weatherman was definitely wrong today. They said rain all day today, and we really didn't get much. As here is 15 seconds to go. As the press box is going to stop the clock. And this looks like it's going to be a delay of game. Delay of game is called here with the press box taking too much time off the clock. Should not have been a running clock with the face-off here. As the clock is going to be reset up and have seconds added back on. Gameplay at 40 seconds. Here's the takeoff. As that ball is shot out of bounds. 34.6 seconds, as this is not a running clock for the last minute of play here. Now the clock will start running. 30-second warning in the first half. It's Maine South 10 on Deerfield's 5. It's Maine South with the ball, looking to add a little bit of insurance on the board before the halftime starts, as that ball is thrown out of bounds, as that is rolling all the way down to Waukegan. 17 seconds stopped clock here. As now the clock will run as time expires. It's Deerfield with the ball, looking to make a little last second shot. That ball is going to be turned over. Maine South intercepting it. As time is going to expire here, and no shot will count. Ball was put in the net, as that will not count as a goal. Entering halftime, the score, Maine South 10, Deerfield's 5. We'll be back after the halftime break. Maine South 10, Deerfield 5. 5-minute break. Second half of play at Deerfield High School is resumed. Current score is Maine South's 10 going up against Deerfield's 5. As it's Maine South and Deerfield switching nets here. Maine South with the ball in possession. 25 minutes of play is underway. As you can see, Deerfield High School girls varsity soccer walking onto the field, getting ready for their game. And here's Maine South with the ball as that ball is thrown way out. But Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe fellow DSI worker Dara Carson is on this varsity soccer team. Is that correct?
I believe she is as well.
All right, we can get into that later and talk a little about her on the pregame for soccer. As here's Maine South playing hot potato with the ball around the net. Maine South still with the ball. Only one shot attempt in this first 2 minutes from them, but definitely working on their passing. Running a little practice drill right here. Could be an IHSA record for passes in a few minutes.
Yeah. I wonder what the record is on that.
Well, you definitely can see they got that good chemistry as that ball is saved from going out of bounds, saving it.
You know, rumor has it that they had a little bit of red juice in their water.
It's possible. Gets you that little caffeine, a little bit of Mio.
A little bit of Mio goes a long way.
I'd take a little 1 water bottle of Mio before every game, as that is a turnover. Deerfield getting possession at 22-30. And looks like that might be another fumble right there for Deerfield.
You know, I'm going to say a little bit of a secret here, but, you know, in my jug, in my water bottle for baseball, usually go home before the games, and you know what I put in it?
A little bit of red.
Water with a little bit of red. A little bit of red goes a long way in the world of sports. Mio, it's got caffeine, it's energy Mio, you know, a little roughhouse there is.
As here's a shot on goal from Deerfield, Samara Bronstein, as that is no good. Deerfield making an attempt to recover it, and there's a whistle blown. 22 minutes on the clock. Maine South still with the lead at 10-5. Looks like Deerfield's going to have an attack shot here on Maine South. For Deerfield, it's Samara Bronstein with the shot. Her shot on goal is good. You can count that one. Samara Bronstein with her 5th goal of the game.
Scored by number 16, Samara Bronstein.
As you heard it there from the PA announcer, it's Samara Bronstein with her 5th goal of the game. Time of goal, 21-19. Deerfield 6, Maine South 10. And that's 5 goals for Samara Bronstein. Almost makes you wonder, what is her record of goals in a game as a Warrior? I'm very curious about that, as she is a key player, and I would say the star of this Warrior team. Once again, for Deerfield, it's Zimbroff on the faceoff. For Maine South, Sophia Genaris, who's almost twice the height of Deerfield Zimbroff, on the faceoff. Genaris hasn't lost the faceoff today, and her streak will continue. As for Maine South, it's Caitlin Goff recovering the ball on the faceoff. 21 minutes. As it's Maine South with the ball and Deerfield's goal, continuing their game of hot potato and their passing skills. They just love moving the ball around. As there's a shot on goal from Genaris, and that is saved by Deerfield's Margulis. A great save by Margulis, who's been a great goalie for the team this year, doing her best to be a wall in the net, a brick wall. It's Deerfield with the ball for Deerfield right now. The carrier is Kate Puharich. The senior is a starter on defense.
Just over 20 minutes here until the end of this game. Warriors down by 4. Should be a good one here of the last 20 minutes.
Four isn't a big number in lacrosse. I mean, you already see Samara's got 5 goals. I think this could be anyone's game, to be honest. Deerfield just got to keep their heads up and try and stay in it, as it's Anna Claire Harms falling to the ground as there is a whistle blown. Deerfield will have the ball. It's Margulis with the ball in net, throwing it to Samara Bronstein, who is sprinting down the field, looking to put a little play on for Deerfield. Bronstein with the ball, driving into the net as she loses it as it falls to the ground. That is going to be recovered by Maine South. 19:30 in the second half. Score still Deerfield 10. Correction, Maine South 10 on Deerfield 6. It's Maine South with the ball as both players from both sides are sprinting back as that ball is getting some touches from Margulis in net as she's going to recover that.
Something to keep an eye on. Bronstein was a little bit tough getting up from that fall. So just, if you're a Warriors fan or coach, something to keep an eye on there is your number 16, which is a good number in general. Something to keep an eye on for the Warriors.
And by the looks of it, I am going to say it is raining as I see lots of colors of umbrellas going up. We got red, we got black, we got green, we got polka dots. Umbrellas are being unleashed. And as I get a peek out the window, it is starting to rain. I'm going to lower these windows down a bit to keep our equipment dry. But the rain is underway in Deerfield.
Yeah, I do see. I'm going to go through each thing from left to right. We got what looks to be, green. Up, another one is up.
Another one is up. There's 2 more up.
I see another one that's getting ready to go up there, that red and black.
As there is a goal from Maine South. That's going to give Maine South an advantage even more.
Up, another one.
At 11-6 for Maine South. It's none other than Militia Simic with her 5th goal of the game. Looks like she really wants to have a battle with Bronstein here to see who the game leader for goals can be. They're each making a big fight for player of the game here. Time of goal is 18:06 as Maine South extends their lead to 11-6. That goal is sponsored to you by the Audi Exchange of Highland Park, servicing Porsche, Audi, and Chevrolet vehicles.
I'm waiting for that one right there to go up. That red and black one, it's about to go up. We'll see another one.
When you have a rain jacket
we see
on.
2 of them.
All right, sit down, buddy. When you have a rain jacket with a hood up, you might not need an umbrella.
2 more.
And you made the dumb mistake of not bringing a coat or a jacket today.
I actually came from school, so
Oh.
I was not prepared.
You knew it was going to rain today, as there is another face-off, as Zimbrov will be unsuccessful on winning it. Correction! There it is, Samara Bronstein getting the ball. Deerfield winning their first face-off of the day. And it's Dylan Zimbrov with the ball at 18 minutes.
Personally, I'll take the hit for that, not being prepared enough.
Yeah, you should take the hit.
You know,
who else is going to? I could tell you it wasn't me.
I woke up. I thought it was going to be a great day. No rain. Thought
It was never going to be a great day.
Thought we were going to be able to play, little exotic baseball. And then, at about, say, 2 o'clock, 2:30, we get a text saying game's canceled, no workout after school, enjoy their day, get some rest. Warriors goal.
And there's a goal from Dylan and Zimbrov. It seems like every time you're talking, they score a goal. So maybe we'll have you commentate the whole time.
I mean, I think I talk a lot, so.
As there's Dylan Zimbrov. Great way to add to her assists to the game is 2 goals. Time of the goal is 17:23. And I could tell you that's definitely going to bring her her stats up today.
Sounds like Dylan needs to check the weather app in the morning.
Yeah, I probably do. You're right.
As Deerfield cuts their deficit down to 4, as you can see the other side of the press box closing the windows. What that tells me is it's rain is coming down. Well, I could tell you, I was a smart broadcaster for bringing my umbrella today.
Oh,
You know who-
I like the umbrella. That's pretty cool. Never seen it.
That's a nice golf umbrella. I got those. I got one umbrella at the house, a big one for golfing. Let me tell you, that covers a whole family of 6.
You know who's not smart? Not bringing an umbrella or
Ew.
a coat.
Doesn't surprise me.
This guy.
You're going to wake up in the morning with a little itchy throat.
Got to be up to the school anyways at around 8:30 tomorrow, so
Again, itchy throat.
don't think. Well,
Keep the
Between broadcasting the cold weather and being underdressed, the itchy throat is bound to happen.
You know, it'd be a shame if you were going to be at our game tomorrow.
Yeah, and there it is. The referee is coming out with a jacket on, a real raincoat.
Actually, earlier in the game, the ref took a fall. That was pretty interesting to see.
Well, it's getting slick out.
It is getting slicky.
And this turf is not in great shape either. I was told this week that there will be a new turf installed this summer. Turf, not cheap. I heard the project itself is about $1 million, which is pretty crazy.
Turf ain't gonna be cheap. Yeah, for sure.
Under 18 here to go.
As it's 17:21 on the clock.
It's going to be interesting to see how the soccer game later holds up with the rain.
I mean, there was a game last year for soccer where it was full on snowing, and Mr. Grady had to pull out a shovel and start shoveling. So I mean, there's no doubt that they'll play in the rain. As here's Deerfield with the ball, it's Samara Bronstein. She puts up
Another
the shot,
goal.
and it's in. Samara Bronstein with her 6th goal of the game, and right back at it. Deerfield is right back in the game. Deerfield 8, Maine South 11. As Samara Bronstein does what she's here for. Put shots in and put smiles all around on the team. Time of the goal is 17:05. As Deerfield's only down 3 right now, as this game is right back neck to neck. There's no doubt that Samara Bronstein can put this game back together. And Samara is on fire for tonight.
Yeah, team's leading scorer. She's Mrs. Do-It-All for the Warriors.
As here's the face-off, as Deerfield looks to go on a streak from winning them, and they will. It's Samara Bronstein recovering the face-off. Deerfield has won the last 2 at this point, and I think this is the turning point for this Deerfield team on offense. They're winning the face-offs. They're putting the shots up on goal. Maybe the rain is our friend here. As it's Maine South getting the ball on the takeaway. Looks like a 1-on-3 for Maine South.
You know, I noticed they like to get the ball behind the net.
I think that gives them more time to get their players to recover
Yeah,
back.
I think it does.
And set up a play, possibly.
Goal number 21. Milakitsa Simic. I think we've
Melitza.
Melitza Simic. I think we've said her name now about
That
6
is her
times.
6th goal of the game, as she really wants to compete with Samara Bronstein, as both of them have 6 goals. Makes you wonder who's going to be victorious today in the leading statistic. Time of goal is 16:27. Maine South extends their lead to 12-8, as that goal is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate, Ben Cohen, along with North Shore University Health System. Here's the face-off as Dylan Zimbroff looks to make it 3 recovered face-offs in a row for Deerfield. As the rain is slowly starting to come down more, I can now officially see it through the window, which is a first for me today, as there goes Deerfield's streak of winning the face-off. For Maine South, it's going to be Sophia Genaris winning the face-off. As here's her with the ball. She puts up a shot on goal, and that is blocked off the net by Deerfield's goalie, Hannah Margulis. Looks like there's 16 minutes on the clock. Deerfield 8, Maine South 12. It's Maine South with the ball. Looking to put a little more insurance on the board. It's Maine South right here at the ball, as they got 2 players throwing it back and forth to each other behind the net here. As they're just rotating around here, all the way around, cutting down the clock a little bit as they're maybe getting a little nervous with this hot Deerfield offense. as that ball is rolling out. It's going to be 2-on-1 Maine South trying to get the ball. As that ball is in the track and field sand pit. .15 on the clock. Score is same, Maine South 12, Deerfield 8. And let me tell you, this game definitely exceeded my expectation on the goals scored. I was only expecting around 10. And already at 20 on the day.
Yeah, like I said, two high-powered offenses. So
When you're watching a game, Dylan, what do you prefer? Like a low-scoring shutout or a high-scoring game?
I mean, personally, it depends on the sport. I think for me, as a being a pitcher, I do prefer myself a nice pitcher's duel. But then again,
What about for broadcasting a game like this for lacrosse?
I mean, I think for lacrosse, you want a high-scoring game, brings more energy. Like it's kind of the same for me as basketball, where you're gonna get a lot more opportunities to score. Like in basketball, you're gonna get a lot of shots. In lacrosse, there's already been 27 shots here. 20 have been went in, so there's a lot more opportunity for goals. And you just want to see everyone be able to succeed. Obviously, basketball, you want a lot of points. Football, you want a lot of points. But then baseball, I prefer a pitcher's duel because that's just a lot more fun to watch rather than just keep rotating pitchers and things like that. But like I said, in lacrosse, I personally want to see high scoring. It's just really fun to watch rather than, one team gets a possession, nothing happens. And then they bring it down the other way, nothing possessions. And so on and so forth. And it's just kind of this boring bowling ball going back and forth, nothing really going on. What do you think?
I would say, in my opinion, looking at it, for lacrosse, I'd like a higher scoring game that's closer. I mean, I like calling the goals and everything that's going on. But, looking at like baseball, if I'm on the call, I think a pitcher's duel is pretty fun. I was working the game yesterday for JV baseball, and we saw Deerfield victorious by a score of, I believe, was 3-1 or 2-1. And that's a great game to call, too. Tight game where we saw Harper Ransburg throw a complete game for Deerfield. And we also saw Highland Park starter throw a complete game. But I think that's also very interesting, But I'd say for like lacrosse, soccer, football, I think a high-scoring game is a lot of fun to call. Getting a lot of exciting plays to talk about. Gives you a good flow of things to discuss throughout the broadcast. As here's 12:45 on the clock. As Maine South still up 4, 12-8. Maine South nearly double. Exactly double shots on goal compared to Deerfield. Maine South's 18, Deerfield's 9. And it really puts the question, if Deerfield could put up twice the amount of shots, would this game be tied or maybe a bit closer? Maine South is very lucky to have a wide variety of real shooters, as there is a Deerfield goal that's shot up by Samara Bronstein, none other than the leading scorer of the game. Samara Bronstein with her 7th goal of the game as she cuts the deficit down to 9-12 for Deerfield. Time of goal is 12:14. And have a day, Samara. I mean, that's incredible to be doing that. She takes the throne back over for leader of goals on the day, taking over Simic, who has 6. That's 7 goals for Bronstein. She'll be going home a happy warrior tonight. I can tell you that, Dylan.
Yes, she will. But obviously, you can have all the personal achievements, but being a warrior, you really want the one, which is the win. And she's trying to do her best to get them to that point. And she does have, like you said, she does have 7 of the Warriors' 9.
Current score, Maine South 12, Deerfield 9. As there's 12 minutes left, that score update is brought to you by Rosati's of Bannockburn. What a great pizza spot, too. Right down the road in Waukegan. As it's getting a little cooler out and dinner time is approaching, no better way to get something hot to eat. Nice slice of hot pizza. It looks like there might be a little injury for Maine South. Looking like it's Caitlin Gleason, as they are going to stop the clock here.
Something's going on with Hannah Margulis.
I'm not sure what this is. So Hannah Margulis is not in the net for the takeoff, or for the attack. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing here. Maybe that was the type of penalty where you can't have a goalie in, as there's a free goal from Maine South. I'm not too sure with what that type of play is, but that's Caitlin Gleason scoring her first goal of the game, extending Maine South's lead.
You know what it might be? I'm going to draw an inference here that because she left the circle.
I was about to say, yeah. Because it looked like Margulis left the circle to try to bat it out.
Well, you're allowed to leave the circle.
I don't know if you can.
I've definitely seen players leave the circle.
I don't know about goalies. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like the same as
I've
the
seen goalies
trapezoid.
leave. I've seen goalies leave the box, and there's
Because she didn't have the ball with her, though. So you can't.
I'm not sure what the exact ruling is. So we're not sure exactly what happened, but they think because Margulis left the box. But I said goalies leave the box, so maybe I said I think the penalty was on her. I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. As that's a free goal for Maine South. 13-9, 11:15 in the second half. As it's Deerfield with the ball now. "11 minutes in the second half of play. Dylan Zimbrov with the ball for Deerfield.
Just behind the net.
Ooh, nice move there to get away from the stick. A stick handling there by Zimbrov. As another whistle.
We're going to be running a little short on time here for soccer, for sure. A little short.
As we are close towards the 10-minute mark, it's still Deerfield possession, looking to make this game a little tighter. If I'm seeing a goal, I'm expecting Samara Bronstein to add to her collection. That's my best pick right here for another goal for Deerfield.
I think it is going to be either Simberoff or...
As there it is, you heard it from me first, as there it is, a Samara Bronstein goal adding to her collection. That's number 8 for Samara Bronstein. At this point, I might as well buy a lottery ticket, as I called that one right away.
Yeah.
Time of goal is 9:58. Deerfield 10 on Maine South 13. As Samara Bronstein, I'm not sure if she's a sophomore or junior, but she should definitely be a familiar name for all CSL lacrosse girls fans or players. Definitely a threat for both sides. As this game is back to being a 3-point game, this is very neck-to-neck. Seats are filling up as people are here for lacrosse and for soccer. And here's the takeoff. It's Dylan Zimbrov winning the faceoff, and Maine South just completely towering over her, knocking her down. Referee is going to call that a Deerfield ball.
No.
That girl runs right at her. Look at that. She wasn't ready for that.
As it's Deerfield with the ball with 9:30 to go in the second half of play. For Deerfield, it's number 13 with the ball, someone who I do not have on the Deerfield roster, so that's great. Now it's Samara Bronstein with the ball. Can she make it number 9? She passes to Dylan Zimbrov.
How many more goals do you think she's going to get here tonight?
I think she's got to get to number 10. You're already at 8. Why not get to double digits? As here's Dylan Zimbrov right in the goalie box. She puts up a shot, and that's in for Dylan Zimbrov, her third goal of the game. Dylan Zimbrov really making a statement here as the Warriors want to become victorious today. She puts Deerfield within 2 points of Maine South. Current score, Deerfield 11, Maine South 13. Time of goals, 8:53. And this is just a dangerous duo between Zimbroff and Bronstein. They just piggyback off of each other. As here they are at center field talking about their goals. It'd be great if this was a great day out. Could have some students here, because I could tell you this crowd would be jamming if there were some people here. And after that big goal, here's Zimbroff looking to win the face-off after winning the last one. Here's the face-off, and it is Deerfield winning the face-off. It's Zimbroff popping it backwards to Samara Bronstein. Bronstein back to Zimbroff. Zimbroff sprinting down at the 30, at the 20. 8:30 to go in the second half of play. Zimbroff in the end zone, running behind the net with the ball. Zimbroff by the net. She's been guarded heavily. 3 people on her in her zone.
He's definitely looking to score there, but she would have passed it.
Yeah, I wonder what happens here. Maine South, Billy King on Bronstein and Zimbroff going to try and probably just completely wipe them out of the game and try and get the Warriors to score from other ways.
As here's Bronstein putting up a shot on goal, and that's going to be blocked by the goalie. That's a nice block.
Ooh,
As there might be an injury from Maine South. They're going to call a clock stoppage from Maine South. That's going to be Emmy Prater, the senior, who was down on the ground. Looks like she will be up and okay. Currently 7:57 on the clock. His game will resume. Definitely had a few scares here with injuries. Most notoriously, we have not seen Mackenzie Pomerantz come back into the game, as I'm going to assume her day is over. Unless they really need her at the end here. Here's Deerfield with the ball. 7:30 to go in the second half of play, and Deerfield only down 11-13. 2-point game here. As that Deerfield ball is thrown out, rolling out, Samara Bronstein's going to save it. Nice save from Bronstein.
They came back from a pretty decent March deficit.
Here's Bronstein giving the ball to Aaron David. Aaron David using her height and athleticism to her advantage as she's running down. She gives off to Zimbroff. Zimbroff traveling into the end zone, running around here. 7 minutes on the clock in the second half. It's Zimbroff for Deerfield getting to the net. She puts up a shot up, and that's no good.
Just a bit high.
Not sure if that was a shot or a pass. She's on the ground. Looks like she'll be okay. Clock is stopped. 6:50 to go in the second half of play. Deerfield 11, Maine South 13. And it looks like Dylan Zimbroff is going to have a penalty here, as she will be taken out of the game for the penalty. That'll be a 2-minute penalty, and that is terrible for Deerfield, as you got to keep one of your star players on the field for these last few minutes here. Zimbroff's penalty is at 6:50, as she'll be released at 4:50. And with only 7 minutes of play here, and Deerfield down 2, you definitely need one of your better players in the game to try and make that little push to try and take the tie back or even the lead. As here's Maine South with the ball. .6:30 on the clock. As there's a whistle blown. Clock is stopped at 6:18. Deerfield 11, Maine South 13. Looks like Maine South is going to have an attack towards the Deerfield net. Correction, that is going to be a timeout before the attack. Call the timeout at 6:18. Timeout is Maine South. We'll be back after the short timeout break. As here we are back from timeout break. Sorry for the technical difficulty, as there was a Maine South goal. Time of goal 6:07, extending their lead to 14-11. For Deerfield, Dylan Zimbrov has 1 minute 17 seconds left in the penalty box. And that is a running clock, 6-minute warning here. As there's a Maine South goal scored by Sophia Genaris. That's her third goal of the game. And honestly, at this point, with Zimbrov out, it looked like Deerfield kind of gave up a bit. Maine South extends their lead to 15-11 with 5:26 in the second half. Right when Zimbrov came out, just looked like Deerfield's heads were down, and they gave their guard up. And they gave Maine South an opportunity for a comeback here.
Yeah, Deerfield, like you said, once the penalty happened, all the air in their balloon just kind of deflated, and they had to change all their ways they were playing. They kind of dropped back into what looks to be more of a zone type of scheme rather than what they were running, which was that man-to-man type of lacrosse game. And they also have not been able to control off the bat of the face-off, and that's key in lacrosse, is winning those face-offs and getting possessions early for your team.
As it's Deerfield here at the ball, turning it over. 5:07 on the clock in the second half of play. Maine South still with the lead at 15-11. For Maine South, it's Catherine Connolly with the ball. She is on defense. Looks like she's getting offensive time here. As here is Dylan Zimbrov on the penalty release, looking to make an instant impact for Deerfield.
Good defense there by Hannah Margulis. And stops that one again. Nice play there by the senior goalie.
As there's 4:15 on the clock for the second half of play here. Still is Maine South with the ball. As there's a shot on goal, and that's going to be no good. Shot comes from Melitza Simic. Looking to get her 7th goal of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, said that name a lot.
It's Deerfield with the ball, turning it over. Maine South with possession. Deerfield sprinting back. 1-on-1, and that's going to be a Maine South goal. As Deerfield just was sloppy there and looked like they gave up. Not hustling back on time. It's Grace Jurger with the goal for Deerfield. That's going to go down as her first goal of the game. As Maine South extends their lead to 5. With 3:45 to go, and I'm going to say at this point, unfortunately, you can call this a loss for the home team for Deerfield. Just giving up on their game right when Zimbrov got pulled out. And it says something about this team that they can't succeed very well under pressure without their leaders in play. As here's the face-off, it's Zimbrov for Deerfield. As there's a whistle blown. As this clock is just going to keep getting stopped repeatedly. As they're going to redo this face-off. It's Maine South winning the face-off. 3:30 to go in the second half of play. Maine South 16, Deerfield 11. And here's Deerfield trying to make an attempt to turn the ball over from Maine South. Unsuccessful. It's Maine South remaining their possession.
Ooh,
And there's a
another
shot and goal for Maine South. That's put up by Sophia Generis, her 4th goal of the game, as she has a hat trick, extending Maine South's lead to 17-11. Time of goal is 3:17.
You know, Warriors got out to a early 2-0 lead, and then Maine South just kind of flipped the switch and really started to play more as a team instead of trying to play individual lacrosse. And ever since that, you know, they went on a 17-9 run here, just all over the Warriors. You know, they've been able to do kind of whatever they wanted. Have held the Warriors to not a lot many shots on goals, while Maine South being very efficient with their shots on goals. 26 shots, 17 in.
And at this point in the game, Deerfield is going to start making some substitutions towards the bench. For Deerfield, it's Lucy Pollen and Casey Schwab coming into the game, taking out some of the starters. And this is something I expect to see at this point of the game. With Maine South with that commanding lead and not a lot of time on the clock, I expect Deerfield to start pulling out some of their starters, putting in some players that haven't gotten much time, injury prevention towards the starters. As here's your 2.5-minute warning. It's Samara Bronstein with the ball for Deerfield as she is running hard straight towards the net. She puts up a shot on goal, and that is blocked by the goalie for Maine South. Maine South will take possession. 2:15 in the second half, while Maine South has the lead at 17-16. Here's Maine South with the ball, and here's your 2-minute warning as Maine South looks to run the clock out. Running around the outskirts of the field, passing the ball around. As it looks like Deerfield's defense is becoming slower and more walking paced.
Got way too tired at that. But it is their ball, so let's see what they do.
Yeah, like you said, running around the outskirts of this town, you know, just like you said, winding the clock down, and not really much you could do here. You can kind of get one last rush, see if you can't get together a miracle, because, you know, miracles do happen, but looking like we are under a minute here, and Deerfield's magic pixie dust is just kind of going down and down as this game has gone on and on.
Definitely the pixie dust is disappearing and starting to be extinct. As you can just see this energy from this Deerfield team completely wiped away after Zimbroff's penalty. There's 4 offensive players just standing in a group, not walking around, or not running around, just standing there congregating. As the clock will stop at 35.5 seconds in the second half of play. Maine South up 17-11, as it looks like that could be the final score for the day, assuming neither team score a goal here. As here is an attack for Deerfield. It will be a goal from Samara Bronstein. That's going to go down as her 9th goal of the game, cutting the deficit down to 5 for Deerfield. Time of goal is 32.7. Maine South retains their lead at 17-12. I got to assume this is a career high for Bronstein. 9 goals. Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably up there with something. I mean, she's very talented players we've been able to see. She's putting up a fight single-handedly against a pretty good Maine South team who has really held their opponents to only 150 goals on the year. So to be getting, that is would be 12. It's getting 8% of the goals in this game today in the whole season that they've given up. That's a pretty big deal. 7.5% of all goals given up by Maine South this year. That's going to be 162 have come from the Warriors.
As we're at 30 seconds left in the second half of play, it's Maine South winning the faceoff once again. As there's a Maine South shot on goal at 15 seconds, that ball is going to roll out of bounds into the soccer net. Here is 10 seconds to go. And with the clock winding down and expiring, Maine South is going to be victorious in this matchup. Maine South taking the game 17-12. I'm going to award the player of the game to Melissa Simic, who had 6 goals and led her team of Maine South to a win. And I'll give the Deerfield player of the game to Samara Bronstein, who had 9 goals. After this game, Maine South will be victorious, improving to 9-7 overall, while 5-2 in the conference. That snaps their losing streak, as Deerfield falls to 7-10 overall, 4-3 conference, snapping their winning streak. More importantly, Deerfield, who is 4-2, third in the conference, will now be tied for third and fourth with Maine South, as that's what I have here for the Deerfield Maine South broadcast. Maine South 17, Deerfield 12. I'm your play-by-play broadcaster, Dylan Traeger, and joined by color commentator Dylan Zuber, signing off temporarily, as we'll be live for the girls soccer matchup coming up in 25 minutes. Be there.